In our So Right They're Wrong segment tonight, Donald Trump, he's out of office, but that has not stopped him from the incessant lying. And this one, a whopper, so easy to prove false. All you need is a set of eyes. It is a new low, even for the Donald.
It was a zero threat. Right from the start, it was zero threat. Look, they went in. They shouldn't have done it. Some of them went in and they're hugging and kissing the police and the guards. You know, they had great relationships. A lot of the people were waved in and then they walked in and they walked out. And I'll tell you what, they're doing things to those. They're persecuting a lot of those people.
Those people are the people who stormed the Capitol and killed and injured law enforcement. The hugs and kisses that he calls them that for the officers that day, and the two others as well here that lost their lives in the aftermath. In addition to those officers we lost, 140 officers were injured by the mob that stormed the Capitol. The FBI recently released this video of cops under attack. It shows just how bad it got. Also, take a listen to what officers were saying to one another over police radios that day as they were overrun and under attack by the pro-Trump mob.
You need to pull back our resources. If you need to go inside or pull back, if they're getting behind you, you don't have enough resources.
If I give this up, they're going to have direct access. We got to hold what we have. We lost the line. We lost the line. All we need to go back to the upper deck. ASAP. Upper deck. He's ready. Get their helmets off. Cruiser 50 has blanked. 1033. I repeat, 1033 was from the Capitol. We've been blanked and we've lost the line.
Now, I want you to remember, the president said that mob was full of hugs and kisses for the officers and that the mob is being persecuted. Think about that as you listen to this horrific video of the mob savagely beating police officers with sticks and flagpoles, dragging officers down the steps surrounding them, pummeling them. Also, how about the first-hand accounts from some of the officers who were attacked by the Trump supporters?
I remember like guys were stripping me of my gear, and then some guys started getting a hold of my gun, and they were screaming out, you know, kill him with his own gun. At that point, you know, it was just like self-preservation. You know, how do I survive this situation? The other option I thought of was, you know, try to appeal to somebody's humanity. And I just remember yelling out that I have kids.
Here's Officer Daniel Hodges from the D.C. Metro Police.
There's a guy ripping my mask off, and he was able to rip away my baton and beat me with it, and you know, he was practically foaming at the mouth. So just these people were true believers in the worst way. The cognitive dissonance and the zealotry of these people is unreal. You know, they were waving the thin blue line flag and telling us, you know, we're not your enemies, while they were attacking us and, you know, kill one of us.
The House of Representatives recently approved the resolution to honor the police officers who protected them that day. It passed overwhelmingly, but there were 12 lawmakers, all Republicans, that you see on your screen right there. They all voted no. They are a who's who of Trumpers. QAnon conspiracy nuts, right-wingers who are still kissing the ring of Trump as we speak. We call them the Dirty Dozen, and for good reason. Now, you may wonder why possibly they could vote no to honor officers who stood between them and the mob. They said a major reason was their objection to the word insurrection in that resolution. I did it before this week. I'm going to do it again. I read from you the dictionary definition of insurrection. I'll let you be the judge to what happened on January 6th. An act or instance of revolting against civil authority or an establishment government. What the hell was January 6th? Also, those people who Trump said were no threat, who wanted to find and kill his vice president. again, the president says they're being persecuted. One of the rioters had parked his trailer just blocks from the Capitol. Police, they found an assault rifle, Glock, hundreds of armor-piercing rounds. FBI says he sent a text message saying that he wanted to, quote, put a bullet in Nancy Pelosi's noggin on live TV. Andrew, again, it was at the beginning of the segment, but I want to repeat, the president went on live television last night and he said that this mob had nothing but hugs and kisses for the law enforcement officers, and that they were being persecuted. You know, again, that expression comes to mind, don't believe your lying eyes, right? We all saw from ourselves. It's going to add to the legal exposure for the president. I've heard more legal experts today say he's got a problem. But the idea that we've gotten to the point where he still has defenders on Capitol Hill after imperiling their lives, the vice president's lives, officers' lives were lost because of that day, 140 others injured, and he still is perpetrating a lie that we all witness as one of the darkest days in American history, even by Trump standards. Unbelievable.
And he's trying to add to the lie now. He's backpedaling and soft selling what we all saw and what we all experienced that day. So it's not, you know, it's another chapter in his big lie. No, it wasn't nearly as bad as you remember seeing it, or as bad as you thought it was. And look at how nice these people are. And these are people who killed police officers and attacked the United States of America. And these supporters in Congress are the same people who will lose their minds if they think that somebody on the Democratic side has said something that sounds unpatriotic or sounds like it's somehow taking sides with somebody against the United States. They demanding resignations and all that sort of thing. And yet these people are defending the people who attacked the United States of America.
And an investigation is ongoing to see if any of them actually aided and abetted some of these folks, certain lawmakers. I want to play the soundbite of Ron Johnson, the Republican senator from Wisconsin, who, listen to his words. He's making it clear to you two things. He defends the people who were traitorous to this country, and he's saying that if they had a darker shade of skin, that would be much more dangerous.
On January 6th, I never felt threatened because I didn't. I knew those were people that love this country, that truly respect law enforcement, would never do anything to break a law, and so I wasn't concerned. Now, had the tables been turned, and Joe, this got me in trouble, had the tables been turned and President Trump won the election, and those were tens of thousands of Black Lives Matter and Antifa protesters, I might have been a little concerned.
I don't know what planet they're living on, Andrew. I mean, they're admitting, at least he's being honest. He's admitting that he's racist, and he's admitting right now that if they look differently, they'd be a threat. They threatened to hang the vice president. Mm-hmm. They killed cops. I mean, what more do they have to see? They literally desecrated the Capitol of the United States, and they put 140 cops in hospitals. I mean, what more do you have to see? I don't know why I'm trying to look for a reason where there is none, but for the Republican Party to still find a way to defend these obscene characters, it's not the party I remember.
I mean, I'm spinning on the overt racism in what he said there, but the other thing that strikes me is the entitlement that he has. Yeah, of course he felt perfectly safe in the Capitol on January 6th because that crowd wasn't going to attack him because he's a Trumper and he's on their side. They're on his side. So, of course he didn't feel the same level of threat. Neither did Ted Cruz, neither did Rand Paul, neither did anybody on the Republican side because they weren't the people who the rioters were going to go after. I wonder
what he would have answered if they said, should Pelosi or AOC have felt safe? He might have answered no, and that's their problem.
And by the way, I still remember from that day, somebody broke into the Senate, looked at Ted Cruz's desk, and was convinced they had found a piece of paper that showed that he was just a liar and was going to turn on them and abandon Trump. And somebody had calmed down and said, no, he's one of the good guys. He's with us. They were ready to turn on Ted Cruz. That mob would have turned on anybody if they thought that they weren't loyal enough to Donald Trump. That's incredibly dangerous for the country, for our politics.
But again, the president, the former one at least, said they came with hugs and kisses. That last night live on Fox News. All right, coming up next, speaking of Republicans, from coast to coast, they're restricting voting rights and they're using bogus claims of voter fraud as the reason. After the break, we'll show you why that's not only nonsense, but they're simply trying to suppress legal votes here, and they're actually admitting it.